In today's lesson, we are going to look at light and shadows. So the first thing we're going to do is just try to understand what are our objectives for today. Objectives are always more challenging to understand, but if I just go through these, we'll come back to it at the end of the lesson just to make sure we understand. So first of all, we had some vocabulary right at the beginning of the lesson: transparent, translucent and opaque. And what we're going to do is we're going to know which materials are transparent, translucent and opaque. Okay. Now, light is very, very important to us, and in the study of science we look at how light behaves, and today we're going to look at how light travels, and we're going to explain the properties of materials found in your house. So we look at some materials in and around your house, and we're going to look at how they interact with light. So let's get started. So first we want to do is we want to look at how does light travel. Now the word travel means how does light move. Now here we've got the sun, okay, and we find that the sun is the biggest light source in our solar system. So light source means something that gives off its own light. It makes its own light. Okay, so the sun makes its own light, and it's the bright object in the sky, and this is what heats up the earth. And as I said, it gives off a lot of light. Now, if we were to look at how light travels, and what we're going to do is we're going to try to represent light by using lines. We know that light shines in all directions away from the sun. So it shines in all directions. It shines towards the earth and it shines away from the earth. Now what's very important is that when we draw light, or we try to represent light, we always draw light using straight lines. Okay? And we never use lines like this, because light doesn't travel this way. And we'll look later at how we know that. So this will be wrong. So if you were to look at this light ray that comes from the earth, from the sun, it travels in a straight line towards the earth. Okay, and we get something that looks like that. And this is what we call a light ray. So this is called a light ray. It's a line which represents the movement of light from the source to where it wants to go. So how is it that we see things? So first of all, we can see a diagram here, and we can see another object that's a source of light, and this is called a torch. Okay, it works off batteries, and in order for us to see things, we need light. If we don't have light, we have complete darkness. Light must also enter our eyes for us to see. So light must go into our eyes in order for us to see. Now there's two ways that you will see objects. You'll either see light because it's coming straight from the light source, or we can find that it reflects from the light source. Reflection. We'll look at reflection later. Anyway, so we have a light source here. It travels from the torch into the eye, and our light ray is a straight line. It enters the eye, and now we can see the light. Now here's a little bit different, because the light source isn't going that way. Well, some of it might, but most of it's going in that direction. Now light source is going there. So here we've got an object that reflects the light, and the light reflects from this object into our eye. So there's two ways we can see things. We can either see objects or see light as it comes straight from the light source, or as it reflects from the light source. So a torch is a source of light, and whatever object this is not a source of light. Here's a source of light. This is a reflector. Okay. So what happens when we have a light source and we have a material, okay, and then we have light shining from our light source towards this material? Now you know a couple of things would happen. The first thing that could happen is that the light will go straight through the material. It goes straight through. So the material does not block the light. It doesn't stop the light. Okay, the light can go straight through. All the light shines through the material, and so therefore we say that it is see-through. See-through, we can see all the light. So the eye sees all the light very clearly. So we can now say that this material is transparent. So this material is transparent because all the light shines through the material. It does not block the light. Alright, so let's say we've got another example, but this time the light is blocked completely. So the light does not go through. So none of the light shines through the material, and none of the light enters the eye. So the eye cannot see the light. So the eye sees none of the light. So we say that this material is not transparent. This material is opaque. So opaque, it blocks the light completely. Now we've got a third possibility, and there's a sort of a slight clue here, and that is that when the light shines, there's a number of things that can happen to these light rays. The material blocks some of the light, so it could block this light ray. Some of the light can pass through, so not all of it, only some of it, and some of the light rays might actually go in different directions. So some of the light shines through the material, and when we look at this, we cannot see through it clearly. So the image is a bit distorted. It's a bit like this. We can't see very clearly. So the eye sees some of the light, but not very clearly. It's sort of blurred. So we say that this material is almost transparent because a lot of light does go through, or some of the light goes through, but not all the light. So we say that this material is translucent. Translucent. Okay, so this is at this point now where I would like you to stop the video, and then I would like you to send me a quick message in Teams to say that you have reached this point in the video. Alright, so what I'd like you to do next is I would like you to take a minute to find, actually take 5 minutes to find 10 materials inside or outside your house, so sort of at home. So I would like you to stay at home, obviously, and to look around in your house or go outside the house and see if you can find 10 different materials, if possible. Now, you need to find materials that are, or that you think are, transparent, translucent, and opaque. And you have 5 minutes. And after 5 minutes, I'd like you to bring it back to your computer so that you can show me and you can show the rest of the class what you have found. Try to use your imagination, see what you can find, and we'll get back in 5 minutes.